Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, well, I'm very excited and slightly agitated. Wussy, you see, I was a very good husband / father this week, and I got to Friday and I finished all of my work, and I said, right, wife, I don't often call her wife, but for the purposes of this story, I said, wife, I've finished all of my work, I am good to go. And I'm not going to be working over the weekend. And my wife was like, yeah, but they're going to reveal something, aren't they? And I said, no, wife, there's nothing left to reveal. The new Japanese set has just come out. We've had the English news we are expecting. And then I'm here on a Saturday and they've gone and shown us the pre-release promos. And the annoying thing is, I've known what they are for a while. I could have made this video weeks ago and just inserted the images when we had them and it was confirmed. And I didn't do that, so now I've actually got to make the video properly. Boo! The good news is, this is a good set of pre-release promos. We're going to rank them like we always do. So let's start off at number 4. With Cinderace. Now, Cinderace isn't a bad card. I think this is a good set of pre-release promos. It's just, I feel comfortable calling it the weakest of them. Now, Cinderace is a Stage 2. Remember, this is an alternate art version. They are all alternate art versions of cards in the set. Well, you can see on the screen, the Japanese card with the regular artwork is on the screen. And then we've got the best image we've got so far of the pre-release promo with the English text, but it's not that large, or at least it's not that clear. The ability, Crisis Power, says you do 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. Now, I don't see Cinderace as a deck, and I don't see Cinderace as the next great card. But I absolutely do see Cinderace as a very, very nice option in single strike decks. Because remember, we do have Mustard, which means you can play one copy of Cinderace, and that's it. Or you're playing a single copy of Cinderace, and you can play it from your deck straight onto your bench using Mustard, as long as Mustard is the only card in your hand. And this adds up very quickly. Not to mention, the attack is 2 energy, 150. Can't attack next turn, but this is a game ender, nobody cares. And you can switch in and out. It's really not a big deal. But it's not really 150. If your opponent has taken 5 prizes, it's 300 for 2 energy. And that's before you start building in all the other things like single strike energy. Put simply, by the time this card is actually really coming online, you should be getting a one-hit KO on a VMAX for 2 energy. And you've got Houndoom. And it's a slightly awkward combo. I think you probably need to use Mustard to get Cinderace out. I don't think Cinderace is going to work too great on its own. And I think you need to have Houndoom to accelerate an energy, then attach Fire and go. But the fact of the matter is, you can be in the late game and your opponent can be up 5 prizes to 3 and have an undamaged VMAX in the active, and then you can just go Mustard, Houndoom ability, attach, 320 damage, because remember, Houndoom will put 1 single strike on you, and then you're KOing a free prize Pokemon which will probably end up winning the game. Yes, that sounds pretty gosh darn good to me. In at number 3, we've got Cresselia. I don't think you could put Cinderace or Cresselia into the top 2. I think there is a big divide between the top 2 and the bottom 2. But if you want to put Cinderace up to number 3, I won't be upset. But Cresselia looks extremely similar to Volcanion in that it is just a psychic version of the Volcanion from Unbroken Bonds, which did see a huge amount of play for right up until now when it's about to rotate out. Crescent Glow for a single Psychic Energy lets you search your deck for a Psychic Energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. But if you go second and it's your first turn of the game, you can get 3 Psychic Energy instead. Just like Volcanion. And then 2 energy, 30 damage, but if you have at least 5 energy in play, it actually does 120 damage, which is pretty gosh darned awesome. So, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I do think this Cresselia is awesome. I think if you're playing a Psychic deck, there is a very, very strong argument that you do want to be playing at least 1 or 2 of these for the early game. I think this is very, very cool. It's a good single prize attacker. It's good for getting you set up and getting energy on the board in the early game. If you're playing a Psychic deck, and with things like Shadow Rider Calyrex running around, we are going to want a lot more Psychic decks actually out there. Yeah, I really do think this is going to be a card that a bunch of people are going to be popping into their decks. And it only comes in at number 3, like I've said. This is a very good set of pre-release promos. Incidentally, this is the only one of the 4 that is neither single nor rapid strike. Persimmon comes in at number 2, and again, if you want to put Persimmon in at number 1, I cannot be upset. Persimmon is a great card. And we actually have a proper English scan of the normal card here as well. Persimmon has got the ability Throwing Coach, which, look, it is Telescopic Sight. It says that your attacks do an extra 30 damage to your opponent's benched Pokemon V and Pokemon GX. Except now, Persimmon does not stack. However, you can use Persimmon and Telescopic Sight on the same Pokemon. And here for me, and it is not the only use, there are plenty of other single strike Pokemon that can come in and be good, but I'm clearly thinking Urshifu here. Because Urshifu for free energy does 120 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. But now if you're hitting bench Pokemon V, you do 180. So Pokemon like Crobat, for instance, that everybody is going to be playing, all of a sudden you can knock out 2 of them in 1 attack for 4 prizes. This Persimmon makes certain Pokemon nuts. I mean, one silly little example here, we've got a Blitzel coming in Chilling Reign. And for a single energy, it does 10 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. The artwork's amazing, the damage is uninspiring. However, with Persimmon on the bench and Telescopic Sight attached, you now do 70 to a bench Pokemon V. That is a legitimate amount of damage to get rolling in the early game. That is reminiscent of the Duskmane Necrozma that did 60 for a single energy and saw play for that attack. Yeah, with Telescopic Sight, it's kind of nuts. But I do think that the number 1, by a fairly wide margin, is Intellion. And as much as I said you could put Persimmon at number 1, I do think Persimmon is a good card. I think Intellion is a format-defining great card, and no, I don't think that's an exaggeration. You see, Intellion comes along, and we don't have an English scan, but we do have a German scan. And I'm sure some of you watching this can read German. So there we go. But it's the same ability that Decidueye GX used to have. And Decidueye GX was great. And there is an argument that, hang on a second, Decidueye was only really good when we had Forest of Giant Plants and we could cheat it into play. Well, we have Mustard. So we absolutely can cheat Intellion into play using Mustard. Oh, yes. Now, incidentally, Rapid Strike Mustard you play from the discard, not from the deck. But that's kind of by the by. This is a great Pokemon. I have already seen a bunch of different decks over in Japan that have been winning with it. In fact, I did a video the other day on the Japanese meta, so why don't I just show you the image here and we can take a little bit of a look. And you will notice that we did have a second place finish for Rapid Strike Urshifu with Intellion. And Dragapult with Intellion. And we had a top 4 finish for Intellion, VMAX, with Intellion. It's a legitimately really good card. If we look at the other one, we've actually got a top 4 finish for Cryogonal Intellion, and you'll notice that they were all different partners. They were multiple different partners, and that is literally my point about Intellion. Intellion is the kind of ability, and yes, it does stack. If you get multiple out, you can use multiple in the same turn. This is the kind of ability that will make not just a good new deck, but many good new decks. Anything that can hit the bench or spread damage really goes well with Intellion. Anything that is just shy of hitting key numbers goes really well with Intellion. To be perfectly blunt with you, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a generally awesome Pokemon with a genuinely awesome ability, which really is going to see a fair bunch of play, I feel pretty gosh darned confident saying that. So those are the Chilling Reign pre-release promos, all ranked and a little bit of analysis on them. I do think Intellion is the best of them. I do think Persimmon is a clear second, but I don't dislike any of these. I think once again, and Pokemon have been pretty good with this lately, I do think we have a set of 4 genuinely playable cards coming through as pre-release promos, and I think that is pretty gosh darn good. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.